Well, several men have been trapped down an illegal mine in South Africa for nearly a week. They must have known it was risky, but unemployment is high in South Africa and people are desperate. The site is just one of thousands of disused mines abandoned by big companies over the past few decades. In other words, we may see more such accidents in the future. Andre-Pierre du Plessis reports.
Families have been waiting anxiously to find out if their loved ones are alive after a group of men went down an unused mine shaft in South Africa. This mine in Langlaagte, just west of Johannesburg, is where gold was first discovered in the city in 1886. It led to an economic boom that brought much wealth to this part of the world and made South Africa the world's top gold producer. But more than a century later, the depth at which gold mining was taking place made many mines uneconomical. Mines were abandoned, and many laid-off workers, who had few other professional skills in a country with a 26% unemployment rate, turned to illegal mining. They're known as Zama Zama miners, derived from the Zulu word which means to try. They are primarily illegal immigrants, making a living from digging for gold. And many of them either die underground or get killed by rival groups who compete for pieces of the precious metal sold on the black market.
On a macro scale, it's probably not too negative for the South African economy because it's creating jobs, it's creating wealth out of the ground, and that gold probably ends up getting exported, so it even brings in some foreign currency. And so if these illegal miners weren't doing it, probably no one would be doing it.
The South African government insists that mining fatalities are declining, but these tallies omit the rising death toll of the informal gold mining industry that runs parallel to the formal sector. In the latest incident outside Johannesburg, at least one miner died, with an unknown number of miners still trapped.
Only 8 came out and the rest were trapped again. So we don't know actually how many were trapped first. So that's why it is not clear to us the number of the people who are trapped underneath.
Areas around Johannesburg are dotted with an estimated 6,000 disused mines where thousands of illegal miners live underground for months, digging for nuggets. It will cost the South African government nearly $3 billion to rehabilitate abandoned mines. But these costs exclude the loss of life caused by an industry desperate for better regulation. Andre-Pierre du Plessis, TRT World.
Well, joining me from Johannesburg is Christopher Rutledge. He is the Mining and Extractives Coordinator at Action Aid South Africa. Mr. Rutledge, thank you very much for joining us. Earlier we were talking and you said that at its peak, this industry employed 1 million people, now down to something like 400,000 people. We don't know much about the men who are down the mine, but typically, what is their profile?
So, thank you very much for having me. Yes, look, our research is showing that it is a mixture of South Africans and miners from our neighboring countries. But to us, we really don't think that it's helpful to focus on the fact that the miners are not what one can call South Africans, because historically South Africa has relied on miners from across the region, from Zimbabwe, from Lesotho, from Mozambique. So these miners are really part of the Southern Africa history. So these are generally poor young men who are willing to risk their lives going down there to eke out a living, because as your report said, the rate of unemployment is extremely high. And so people are really just trying to put food on the table. And if that means that they have to then go down into these deep, dark, dangerous pits,
sure, and
it seems like that becomes an option for them.
And typically, they are ex-miners who were pushed out over the past few decades from their industry for a variety of reasons. Can you tell us those reasons?
Yes, so we've seen a major decline in retrenchments in the sector from, as I said, in the late 1980s, early 1990s, at a peak of almost 1 million miners employed in the sector. Today we have just over 400,000 employed. So that means that we have a wealth of skilled miners who are unemployed, who are twiddling their thumbs, And with these 6,000 odd abandoned mines, it seems like they have seen the entrepreneurial opportunity to go and eke out a living.
Okay.
So we're kind of seeing that this two are connected.
What's interesting is in that report, we heard that if the miners as individuals were not doing this, big companies with their massive overheads couldn't do it. I understand you support government intervention and regulation of these miners to help them make a living.
Absolutely. We believe that South Africa still remains one of the richest countries in terms of geological surveys. So we've got a huge amount of minerals still available to us. And as a poor developing nation, we think that it is helpful for us to regulate the sector so that we can create local economies and that we can actually utilize these funds to help people, to improve people's lives. We think that the political move to not include this in our economy is problematic, to say the least.
Okay, Mr. Rutledge, and with prices of gold around $1,328 per ounce, it could actually be worth their time. Thank you for joining us.